Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here to bring you guys a new Naruto manga 662 prediction. And man, it feels like it's been at least well over a month since I've uploaded anything. I didn't upload from the previous Naruto chapter that actually was released. And then, of course, on top of that, there's been several weeks where we've had a complete break from the Shonen Jump magazine. So no Naruto, no Bleach, no One Piece, no Toriko, or any of that stuff. So yeah, it's been, feels like it really has been a minute. I've kind of enjoyed the break a little bit too because I kind of feel like I needed a little bit of a break from YouTube, as well as the fact that I've been working on my own manga with a few other different people, which eventually you guys will see what we've made. I'm not gonna be able to guarantee you guys when, but I'm hoping that we can get that out maybe in the next maybe couple months, or so, maybe 2 months. I'm thinking tops because we're trying to get everything set up with it. But anyway, this video is not about that. Let's talk about this week's Naruto chapter. All right, now I just have to say I didn't comment on my thoughts on the previous chapter, but I thought that that was the craziest cliffhanger in chapter 660 when you had Naruto lose the nine to like get it pulled out. I didn't even expect anything like that. I mean, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, granted, I know some people probably said, we are probably saying he's not going to die. I mean, I think he may, but I don't. I mean, obviously he won't stay dead. I mean, because you see in this week's chapter, you see Naruto. Of course, we see the continuation of him getting the nine tails out of his body, or it's getting pulled out of his body, and of course, it's getting sucked up in the ghetto maso along with the eight tails. So we know when the eight tails cut off his tail in the previous chapter, he must have cut off Killer B because he's saying "I'm sorry, B," and I'm pretty sure if he's saying "sorry, B" and B is inside of him, getting it sucked along with them, then I would think that maybe you would see some kind of internal monologue or something, with them both being connected like we usually always see. But we didn't get anything like that. So, eventually, I think after that, I think it was Gara. No, the Nine Tails is basically, he's putting everything on Gara, hoping whatever him and Gara came with, he'll be successful at it. Gara catches Naruto, throws him over his back, and you can see the frustration that Gara has, and the determination that he has. I actually kind of like that moment because Gara kind of felt Naruto-ish in that scene. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the fact that he was saying, I definitely won't let you die, and the expression he kind of had kind of reminded me of something of Naruto would do. So it's kind of cool to see Naruto taking a backseat for a moment and his friends actually having to pick up the work. Not something like, okay, for example, when Naruto gave all of them the chakra and he's like, come on, help me, or when he called the Konoha 11 to do that combo with him and Sasuke. But no, like he actually can't do anything. He's rendered useless now. He's dying. He got the nine tails ripped out of his body. So, the only reason why he's even like semi-alive at this point is because he's an Uzumaki. So, of course, you see Gar flying off in the distance. You can guess a couple different places he could be going. One, I know there's a theory out there. A lot of people think that Sakura's gonna perform some crazy thing on him. I personally think that's possible, but I also think maybe Tsunade could revive Naruto if he happens to die. Maybe she knows the technique that Chio knew, or maybe Sakura mentioned it, and maybe Tsunade somehow learned how to use that jutsu, and that would definitely create an opening for him to become the next Hokage. Because then, okay, she's dead. She could say when she's about to fall out, and he's waking up, that you're the new Hokage now, Naruto, or whatever needs to be said. And then there's also a theory I saw on the Naruto based forums. I'm gonna see if I can actually find that and link that down below, about maybe Gaara's actually taking Naruto to the God Tree. And we all know what the God Tree, the Shinju, is. Basically, it was the Ten Tails, original form, I guess you can call it. And we know the Shinju is still sitting there. And the whole deal with the Shinju is that we know that there's a fruit that blooms there once every millennia. And there's a possibility that now, since tail beasts are back in the statue, that maybe it's going to continue to grow, and maybe a fruit will bloom, and maybe that's where Gar is going. And you may say, wait a hold on a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Why would Gar go ahead and take Naruto there? How would Gar even know about the fruit? Because that was a conversation between Madara and Hashirama. Well, Kurama may have told him that, so there's a possibility about that. Because you also have to think key word that Kurama's involved with this. It's something that Kurama came up with, so he must know something. And then there's also the bigger possibility, which I think, is probably the most likely, aside from Naruto taking a bite from the god fruit, or whatever you want to call it, I think that they may end up actually going to see Minato to get the Yin QB, or the Dark Nine Tails. And maybe seal it into his body, and maybe somehow that will suffice and be able to make up for the fact that he doesn't actually have, the Kurama that we've known for the entire series. As long as he's a Jinchuriki, maybe somehow be able to balance it out, or maybe Minato can do something about it. But that's probably the most likely thing, I think, or the Tsunade scenario. But if not, I definitely think if Kishimoto decided to take the route with Naruto taking a bite from the fruit or something and getting some huge power boost and being saved by that in some type of way, that definitely would be a pretty interesting twist. I would like it. Now, that wasn't the most major part of the chapter. The chapter mainly consisted of seeing Toby of course, going head to head with Madara. Madara pretty much just owning him, stabbing him all over his body. And then there's Sasuke. We see a flashback while Sasuke's flying back to fight against Madara. While he's on his hawk, which I'm glad he has his hawk. I like the fact that Sasuke can use both snakes and hawks, because I know there was that question: did he get rid of his hawk summons? And then the same thing happened. I remember back when he fought Danzo, people thought that he got rid of his snake summons, but no, Sasuke's basically just juggling both. So I think that's pretty cool that he's the one of the only characters that we know of currently in the story that can actually do that or has done it. So anyway, Sasuke goes ahead. He's thinking back to shortly before he got on his hawk, when Hashirama basically called him over. Saying, "Young Uchiha, come here. I have this jutsu I want to give you. It's the only means that we'll be able to stop Madara now that he has my Senjutsu." And then that's when pretty much Sasuke acts like typical Sasuke. Well, look, I don't want to, basically, I don't want to help you. I can pull these rods out, but what you want to do is not my responsibility. So you can tell Sasuke still has a little bit of his darker nature in there. I know everybody thinks he's perfectly good, but we don't really know where Sasuke's head is at right now. I don't think he's completely evil, but I don't think he necessarily wants to go about things, in the way that everyone may imagine, like he's just going to be, I guess, just like Naruto right now. I don't think that's the case. I think he's just complying based on the situation right now. I mean, I don't think he's trying to aim to destroy the leaf anymore. I want to make that clear. But I think that his view on the world is probably something that differs from Madara and Hashirama and Naruto. Probably something in between, maybe. So I'm kind of curious where it goes after that. But anyway, Hashirama goes ahead and basically decides, okay, there's something I want to tell you. You really remind me of Uzuna Uchiha, and I really think that if anybody can stop Madara without force, it would have to be you. So let me give you the remaining part of my chakra, since I can't yield any of my chakra, and you please stop Madara. And then Sasuke, of course, we didn't actually see the scene where he gives it to him, but we can all infer the fact that he ultimately gets a power from Hashirama. Now, where this is going to go, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what it could be, but this could be a trigger for the Rinnegan in the future. At least I think it could be, because we all know that Senju DNA is needed in order to help someone achieve Rinnegan when they're like a near, life and death state. That's how Madara was able to obtain the Rinnegan, and since he's an Uchiha and he had Senju cells in his body, shortly before his passing, I believe. So I think that even though Sasuke doesn't have Senju DNA, getting like a huge jolt of power from Hashirama, I definitely think will do something to him. Even if it was just temporary, obviously that will lead for him to be able to probably learn how to tap into the Rinnegan once again later on his own. So from that point, we see, of course, dialogue between Tobirama and Madara. Of course, Madara goes on about his whole aspect of the world again, why he wants the infinite Tsukuyomi, and we got Tobirama calling him deluded. And then he gets into quoting Hashirama about, basically Hashirama's views on things, about how basically, what he wants is a contradiction. He wants peace, but at the same time, he wants war. He still, goes ahead and fights wars. And that's really not, a real, I guess, way of obtaining peace, and how, that's why he has the infinite Tsukuyomi. And then towards, I think it was the latter half of the chapter, that's when we have him even mentioning on the whole fact that you have to in order to be able to protect something, you have to sacrifice something. And then they show when Hashirama said, "I don't care who it is. It's my friend, my brother, my child. I'll cut anybody down if it is in my way to protect the leaf." And pretty much then that's when we see not Hashirama, Sasuke try to jump down and attack Madara. Madara used some type of Devil Path ability. It wasn't Shinra Tensei, but he stopped like Sasuke in his tracks. And then he went ahead and quoted Hashirama verbatim. And then, of course, Tobirama, he's in shock. Sasuke's even in shock. He's wondering what the heck is, Madara doing. And then he stabs him to the chest and then, tells Sasuke, like you had plenty of time to do something, such a pity. Something along those lines. And that was the end of the chapter. Now, as far as what I think about the, like the chapter from a reviewing standpoint, I have to say, I mean, it had a lot of content. I mean, Kishimoto really stuffed it this week, and I feel like it wasn't like, you know, much like wasn't like a lot of fluff. Like I know with some of the Obito conversations that he had, there was some fluff in there, but I feel like everything that pretty much happened almost was irrelevant this week. And he even explained what Tobirama was doing because I was wondering, where are the Hokages at? So we know where Minato is at. The third, he's been missing in action probably most of this time they've been out there. I don't even know why they brought him back. I mean, he's just been chilling. As far as Tobirama, they explained where he was at. He was basically waiting for a moment to strike. And then Minato, we know he's trying to stop Obito and Black Zetsu right now. And as far as Hashirama, he's all stabbed with the rod. So we have an idea of what everybody's doing. At least the main players, the ones that can actually do something against Madara. So I felt like, yeah, the pacing was really good this week. The artwork was, I was really satisfied with it. There wasn't really any panels in particular that bothered me. And as far as, theories go, I feel like this, at least gave us a gateway to actually think of some get excited for some things in the future. Like as far as what's actually going to become of Naruto, like where's Gaara heading? Like I feel like sometimes you may reach that point in the story where there's not really much to really think about what's going to happen next because maybe there's not, a lot of anticipation for something. But I feel like Kishimoto's doing a lot of good build up and showing a lot of different things going on the battlefield, like real dramatic situations such as Naruto, like getting the nine tails ripped out, and Madara getting basically all the Biju chakra. And then on top of that, Sasuke getting stabbed, you kind of makes you wonder, okay, what is Sasuke going to do next week? How is he going to get out of this? Some people say it's going to be Genjutsu. I don't think it's Genjutsu. Why don't I think it's Genjutsu? Well, one, it's Madara Uchiha. He knows this kind of stuff. He's been able to see through this kind of stuff. He's supposed to be a genius, and his eyes, on top of that, are probably the strongest eyes in the series. So it would be kind of surprising if he got caught up in a Genjutsu, or at least, didn't realize that he was in a Genjutsu. And, on top of that, this would be a good chance for Sasuke to show off something new. I mean, he could use Izanagi next week, which I think is a good possibility because Izanagi would be perfect for a situation like this. And maybe it'll even be a little bit different considering the fact that he has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which is said to never lose its light. So I don't know if that plays a little bit different, but Itachi and Danzo did not have Eternal Mangekyo Sharingans. So I think it'll be a tad different if Sasuke did it. I mean, I could be wrong, but it would show why the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is the Eternal if, you could use powers like Izanagi maybe a certain number of times without losing your sight, or maybe Izanami. Now, another thing I would have to say, since Sasuke got this so-called power up from Hashirama, or this chakra from Hashirama, I mean, obviously, he couldn't die right then and there. So, I mean, even though, there's probably some people out there that think, oh, Sasuke in any danger. I don't think he's in any serious danger right now, but I can tell you that this definitely adds to a lot of hype for next week. And, again, it adds to the anticipation, wondering, with Sasuke being caught up in a situation like that, how can he actually respond and actually do something effective against Madara, seeing as how he has the Sage Mode on his chest, and then on top of that, he has a Rinnegan. Black Zetsu's about to get the other one apparently, and then we have fully formed, well, not a fully formed Jubi, but we have all the tail beasts and a Ghetto Maso Plus, Naruto's not only laid out, but he's lost the ability to go Biju mode without Kurama. So a lot of anticipation. What I think is going to happen next week, in particular, well, I think there's going to be Sasuke's shining moment. I think he's going to really finally start getting, his time in, especially the way that Hashirama said it. Please stop Madara, asking Sasuke. And the fact that Naruto's laid out, not saying that he can't have a shining moment, but since they're trying to hype up Sasuke a little bit now, since Naruto's pretty much had his entire moment during the entire war, I actually would say that would be pretty cool if Sasuke ended up through some means, through some power, being the one to beat Madara, because then it would bring up two questions. One, if Sasuke was the one to bring down the great Madara Uchiha, the one that's been bringing the whole massacre to the war, you would probably have some people in the alliance who will be conflicted on whether or not he should be Hokage because he took out the main threat. Now, of course, everybody's on Naruto's side, but then that would also, leave some room for Sasuke, if he's trying to battle it out for Naruto for Hokage. Everybody won't just automatically say no. You're not going to be Hokage whether or not he wins or loses. So there's that. On top of that, it would add some hype to Naruto and Sasuke fighting because right now everyone's saying, man, Naruto's just clearly stronger than Sasuke. I have to agree. I think, he, from what we've seen, he's clearly stronger. Although we know when Sasuke gained a little bit of Senju power from not Senju, Sage Mode chakra or Senjutsu power from Jugo, we saw his Susanoo kind of evolve a little bit. So maybe this big chakra boost that he's getting from Hashirama, maybe it'll end up being something that will stick around and ultimately power him up enough to where, he'll be not only be able to take out Madara, but then, it'll actually hype him up to have that final fight with Naruto. So it actually brings into question, how will Naruto win? Now of course, if Naruto gets the other half of the Nine Tails, we know he's going to get, the main Kurama back, or the one that we all know the entire series. So, it would also add anticipation on the side of Naruto's, or on Naruto's side, who's actually, stronger, like basically Sasuke with a big Hashirama booster, Naruto with the two Nine Tails going on. So, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think that next week we're going to get, a lot of Sasuke showtime. We're probably going to end maybe on a cliffhanger of seeing, maybe not quite a cliffhanger, but maybe I would say like, I don't know, a little bit over, halfway into the chapter, maybe get a page or two of Naruto seeing what's going on with him, what Gaara is trying to do, like at least initiating the process of whatever plan they have, and probably ending more with some Sasuke stuff, or maybe we'll even see something with the Alliance. But I'm thinking mainly it's going to be Sasuke's chapter next week, probably again, because that's how it ended. And, probably a little snippet of Naruto, maybe somewhere in the later half, towards the middle. But I think Sasuke's going to get the Rinnegan, most definitely. I mean, this is the time for him to get it. With the Hashirama stuff, it just makes perfect sense with him getting some kind of Hashirama chakra power up that would trigger it, since Senju DNA apparently is the thing that you need to trigger Rinnegan anyway. I couldn't see why this wouldn't be somewhat of a decent substitute for that. And on top of that, Orochimaru did say that Sasuke's gonna, like in the future can transcend Madara. So I mean, granted, he said it in this the same battle, so he just said it kind of. But I feel like, hey, if Kishimoto's gonna do it, why not do it now? Especially when Madara's on the battlefield, that way we can see it. So these were my thoughts. I know this video was pretty long in comparison to probably some other predictions. Although I have done some of these in the past, I hope you guys don't mind this, as far as this particular one being as long as it is, since I haven't actually discussed like my thoughts on the past two chapters with you guys until now. But don't forget to go ahead and rate this video. So like it if you actually did enjoy it. You can thumb it down if you want to too. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts down below. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.